So then you've determined your focus. You've determined a screener in relation to that focus. You've determined when are we going to collect our data and evidence through that screener. Now we want to think about how. How are we going to collect and then organize that information? And how do we simplify and systematize that so that it can be as efficient a process as possible? Again, we're trying to gather that information quickly so that we can place the time on our response and how are we attending to what it is that the data is telling us. So there's a few things that is worth considering when we're planning out how we expect to gather that data, the collection tool, and then the process of collection as well. The first is when it comes to the process of what's the most efficient way to get that information. Is it through teachers assessing their own students? Is it through the use of a team? Is it group administered? Is it individual? Within my own school, we over time developed a system where a team could gather all the information we need from our screener based over a 2-day period where they would come in, blitz a class, get the information that we needed, and then put it into our documents to be able to organize. It came through much quicker than when we used to spend a 2-week period where during that 2 weeks, teachers were collecting that information. It also helped with the fidelity of the information of rather than each individual gathering it, it was a consistent team that flowed throughout the school to gather that information utilizing our screener. I've seen other schools that are utilizing digital screeners that do a similar process where one person works with classrooms over a 1-week period to gather and get that information. So being able to gather it quickly and have a process for that is important. Where we keep all of our resources is a key consideration in regards to universal screens. But then being able to think about how do we organize that information. And the key to organization is color coding. How do we bring that information together and utilize a color coding system so that it becomes really visualized which students we're needing to be able to direct our attention towards. So this can be done through the use of Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel documents, whatever your tool is that you're gathering that information, but determining how do we collect that from class to class, grade to grade, division to division, even school to school, and then color coding that information, coming up with quick criteria that would allow us to determine which students are at a particular color, and creating that color legend or criteria set that we would utilize. So in the organizer, there is a overview template that includes some instructions as well as a sample even within it, but there's also a a folder of samples to be able to look at how other schools have collected and organized that information. Again, the color coding is key for when we go to start analyzing and doing something with that data. I myself as a principal took a very intentional hand in being a key person who was organizing that information. I found by organizing it, it gave me a really, really good understanding of not just individual students, but classrooms and trends that were being seen as well. It did take a little bit of learning around conditional formatting so that the colors would automatically appear in those documents, as well as being able to sort that information as quickly as possible so that it was ready for our teachers to be able to now start analyzing within our collaborative structures and processes. All right, so take some time and think about, explore, how will we collect that information in an expedient way, and then how will we organize it effectively for our teacher teams to be able to respond.